Welcome to our New Year's Eve gathering. My name is Park Wilde, and I'm delighted to be your host for this social. Please come on in, make yourself at home. What we're doing here is a little bit of an experiment in cross-continental socializing. I'm already seeing names joining that I know and that I've been looking forward to meeting for a long time. There's going to be a fair amount of bustle in the friends and family behind me as we go, and so we'll be introducing people around the room here where I am in Arlington, Massachusetts, as we proceed. But let me greet you all first, and give you all a chance to say a word of welcome right here promptly at 3 p.m. Eastern in the U.S., because I think more people may be joining. And then I'm going to pass the baton to Kim Nicholas in Sweden, who's an American researcher at a university in Sweden, and is also somebody who's been active in communication about aviation issues, especially in university communities, and has a new grant that we've been celebrating for research on related topics. And so I'm going to pass this to Kim next.
Okay, thank you, Park. I will take the virtual baton. Hi, everybody. Greetings from Sweden, and thanks so much for organizing this, and nice to see all of you. I've been inspired. In 2012, I dramatically reduced my flying. I haven't stopped entirely, but I just made a little graph of how much I've reduced, and it has gone down quite a lot. So it's going at least in the right direction. I've stopped flying for work reasons and stopped flying within Europe.
So Giuseppe is a researcher in Europe who I found out about on social media because instead of the usual heavy aviation for his most recent sabbatical, I think he was by bicycle through much of Italy and Austria, if I have this right.
I was doing my sub bicycle, as I called it, going down in the winter to Italy to get some more warmer time. And in the summer, I went up to Tallinn in Estland, a combination of trains and bicycle.
Certainly, we at least were following you closely. So let me introduce you to Larry Edwards, who's also on social media as Rad Reduction.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for the introduction, Park. I live here in Sitka, Alaska. I have my educational background is aeronautical and mechanical engineering. My career was mostly with Greenpeace as a forest campaigner, and I've been concerned about climate issues going back to the 1970s.
I want to introduce you to Janie Katz-Christie, who's the host of I guess the organizer for the Green Streets Initiative, a very important initiative here in the Boston metro area for people doing commuting and doing sane transportation here in Massachusetts. And I'm so glad you could join us in person.
I'm used to we take trains all across the country and most places, and buses, and we bike, and we are car-free as well. I think one of the major issues that I have locally is that in our high school, the public high school in Cambridge, Mass, there are trips posted all the time, like flying to the Galapagos with your Spanish class, or flying to London with your Latin class, or Rome with your Latin class, England with your English class, or everywhere all the time.
The next person I want to introduce is Nathan Phillips, who I am meeting for the first time today. Janie I had met previously, and Nathan is a professor at Boston University and is very important in Boston organization on climate issues more broadly.
All right, thanks, Park. So I'm wearing my Bike Newton t-shirt here. You can see everyone.
Yeah.
So I live just down the road and biked over here, so thank you for being here. There's two things that keep me up at night regarding climate change. Actually, there's a lot of things, but the two biggest things are pavement. I ride on bike lanes a lot, but we have to figure out how to do concrete and paving better, and then flying. You, Kim, you're my hero. I use your 5 talking points on Climate 101 all the time. And just that you mentioned that the ones that are most important to you are the ones to see family. I've come to kind of the same situation in my life. So just hearing your different perspectives and thoughts is really important.
Thank you. So if I may, for a word of introduction, pass the mic in order in terms of the next couple people to Bo Norman and then Laura McKenzie. If you'd like to say a word, or you should feel very, very free to pass also if you prefer.
So I'm in Gothenburg, Sweden, also in Sweden, and I'm at the Chalmers University of Technology, and I work at the Innovation Office there. But I've been working a lot with the issues of climate change for many years now, and specifically in Gothenburg, we have a lot of researchers working with the consumption side of climate change. How much they've found that there are huge differences within the city of Gothenburg in the amount people fly and consume, and I think that's a very important topic to bring up and see how we can change things.
Hooray! Hi, so I'm Laura McKenzie and I work for Friends of the Earth in London in the UK on aviation, and we are taking the UK government and Heathrow to court for trying to expand the airports, which is very exciting, and we're also looking to do much more work this year and next year in terms of getting into the behavior change thing, and it's just been really inspiring to see the kind of nascent flight-free stuff taking off, kind of in other places.
And I wish we could give one more try with Arnie, but Arnie, I don't know if your audio is going yet.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, wonderful! Now we hear you. Now we hear you.
You can hear me. There's a lot of news on flying less in Finland. Well, the work context I'm part of, we have this lifestyle test you can take in the internet. So it has been like crazy popular in Finland. So everybody is now measuring their carbon footprints. It's done now by about 500,000 times. And what it has kind of uncovered is that when people take the flying part of it, the bar which shows your emissions, it just goes like whoop, and everybody's like, oh my god, like what is this about? And that's what the biggest newspapers are writing, that the biggest trends next year, like the most stylish and the most cool people, they won't be flying at all. So it's really interesting sort of social dynamic we have going on in Finland.
I think one of the great sort of why Greta Thunberg has been such an example in Swedish is her persistence, and because she's been sitting outside of the parliament every Friday the whole fall, and this has really grown to a movement in Sweden and also affected other countries. But it also sort of you can sense that it's sort of beginning to affect politicians. They don't know how to handle this. And I think the persistence is a very important part of this, that she really continues to go on with this. And if you see the number of followers or interaction on all social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, etc., I think it's had an amazing effect, and I think it will continue to grow. But it's of course important that we, as more grown up, sometimes really back her up.
Okay, so our last toast is to all of you who've joined and been willing to share in this important endeavor, and we thank you for your participation. We look forward. We will see if this does catch fire. Each year, I have high hopes that this is the year. Surely, in a time of great intense discussion of climate change, this is the year that this is going to catch fire. And each year, I have not yet been correct. But this year could entirely be it, and perhaps by this event next December 30th, you all will tell each other with pride, and you will tell your friends that you were there for the first of these as this tradition gets started. And I hope to talk to you all. In December 30th, 2019, and thank you all for joining. Cheers to you. Bye. Bye.